Hello, everyone. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and some miscellaneous odds and ends. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my. I'm going to be answering a viewer's question that was asked in the comment section of a video a few days ago. They said, "Bob, who do you watch on YouTube? Not the big channels. We know who all the big ones are. But can you give us some idea of what smaller channels you watch?" And I'm going to get into that a little bit today, but of course, I'll be taking your questions as well. But just to start things rolling, I actually want to go over what I consider the list of the big guys really quick. Of course, as you know, Dr. Ken Berry. He's the main channel that I watch. Dr. Ken Berry, Professor Bart Kay, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee. Those are the big ones. That's where most of my information comes from. But let's not forget about Dr. Robert Kiltz and Dr. Paul Mason, who are both fantastic. And then of the other big ones, there's, Steak and Butter Gal. I really like watching her stuff. Coach Bronson. I really like his stuff. If you're looking to add to your exercise routine or how to get started on an exercise routine, Coach Bronson is a good place to go. And then, of course, one of my favorite YouTubers that I really like a lot, Miss Kelly Hogan. Her channel is just fun. She has lots of good guests on. She provides lots of good information. She does most of her daily stuff on Instagram, but Kelly Hogan is awesome. And that's what I consider my list of big people to watch. Let me just say hello to some people here real quick. Mrs. Perfectly Imperfect Keto, hello to you. And Bert is here. Hello, Bert. And Kismet WLS, hello to you as well. Oh, wow, we're up to 13. Don't forget to say hello and hit the like button. But let's get into this list. I have to start with, they don't comment very often because that's just the way they are. But I have to, of the smaller channels I watch, Carnivore Quest. If you're not watching Carnivore Quest, you should. They have recipes. Their story is inspiring. They are fantastic. Oh, and everybody that I've mentioned today, or I'm going to mention, is all linked below in the description of this video. So if you want to find somebody that you hadn't previously heard of, just go down into the description after the live is over and click on them because it'll take you right to them. The next person that I really need to talk about, the person that started it all for me, is not really, he didn't specifically start it for me. His video popped up on my YouTube homepage while I was just getting ready to watch some more photography and travel stuff. But Ferrigno's Freedom, Dante Ferrigno, his channel certainly, oh, hang on just a second here. What was that? Nurse Anisha updated her Zoom to 1 hour later, so now 6:05 Central. Awesome. So I'll be able to catch it just a little bit. I'll be a little bit late getting there. Thank you, Sana. I appreciate that. But yeah, his video popped up in the middle of my watch page, and it was his before and after pictures that caught my attention, talking about the lion diet. So he's another one that I watch as regularly as I can. Now, as you see, as this list gets really long, there are a lot of people that I follow. So, of course, I cannot watch every video that everybody puts out because there just aren't that many hours in a day, and I still have to do my own stuff. As you can see, I've got some lighting in here. I'm still working on the studio. It's getting there. I've got some clamps ordered that I need to hang my backdrop and some other stuff, but it's slowly coming together. Before I forget to let you know, I am going to start doing some interviews. I have a couple people scheduled already. But for those of you that are subscribers to my channel, if you have a story that you would like to tell, be sure and drop me an email. Let me put my email up there real quick. There you go. There's my email. Send me an email if you'd like to tell your story, whether it's going to take 5 minutes or up to an hour. That's fine. Drop me an email and we'll set up a time to get your story out there. But now let's get back to what I was talking about. Those are the people so far. So I covered Carnivore Quest and Frigno's Freedom. And in no particular order, Keto Simple. He's got a great channel. You should be sure and be watching him. Ready, Set, Keto. Of course, you guys know I get along with James and Emily a lot. We talk a lot. I was just on their live last week because Emily had to work. That's not really why I was on their live. I was scheduled to go through Ohio, so I stopped at their place. And I scheduled it so I could be there for their live on Thursday, not knowing that I was going to be the other half of the live. But that it worked out okay, I think. If you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch it. It's posted on their channel. Another person that I watch a lot of, she's just getting started, and you should definitely go watch her channel. She's in the comments right now. Mrs. Perfectly Imperfect Keto. She does some really great stuff over there. So you should be watching her. She's got some really good cooking tips. I, of course, can't try a lot of the cooking tips that people share because I don't do keto. I do carnivore. But her channel is excellent. You should be watching that. Kathy has arrived. Hello, Kathy from Australia. How are you today? I hope everyone is having a great day. And Donna has arrived. Hello, Donna. I'm glad you're here as well. Next on the list here, you've heard me talk about her before. Hyla over at Crafty and Carnivore-ish. If you're not watching Crafty and Carnivore-ish, you should be. She is really good. Yeah, you should definitely be watching her. She has a crafting channel as well. I'm going to go check that out at some point, but just haven't found the hours in the day. One other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about really quick. It seems like a lot of people are doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs challenge this month. And Carnivore Quest is having an overall weight loss goal of 5,000 pounds for everybody that watches. So for those of you that are doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, be sure and get over to Carnivore Quest and tell them that you're doing it. Tell them I sent you, and get yourself in on their challenge for total weight loss, because every little bit we can do help, because they've got a goal of trying to lose 5,000 pounds. So let's help them out with that. So everybody get over and let them know that you're in it with them, even if you're coming from here and you don't normally watch them. Let's see here. Bert says, if you have any issues, you should see Dr. Barry Thomas. I have seen it. I have seen that. I've watched it a lot. I'm going to be talking about a lot of that in an upcoming video. I've been so busy getting home, starting to get things situated. I have some interviews already lined up. So I'm trying to get my studio put together so that I'm ready to do those as well. Your Rush poster looks amazing with your special lighting. I am not a Canadian. I am an American. I've always been an American. I actually grew up in Appalachia, southeastern Ohio, extreme southeastern Ohio. You could throw a rock and hit West Virginia from where I grew up. But yeah, so Crafty and Carnivore, that's where you're at. But if you know, I've got some interviews coming up. The two that I have on the books right now are the next channel that I'm going to talk about here. Dave over at No Carb Life. He's definitely somebody you should be watching, and I'm set up with him later this month. And I'm of course looking forward to all of the interviews that I get to do, but and if you're watching this, Dave, it's not that I'm not excited to talk to you, because I am. You're fantastic. But the one I'm most excited about right now is I'm going to get to have a sit down with Professor K later this month. And that will also be airing on my channel. So that should be really fun. Let's see what else I've missed here. Oh, she hasn't had keto recipes on her. The kids and hubby still keto. Just fully showing carnivore. Yeah, I get so confused on who's doing what. Yeah. But I still stand by it. If you're not watching Santa over on Mrs. Perfectly Imperfect Keto, you should be. Let's see what else here. Sherry is just off work and listening. Hello, Sherry. I hope everything is good, and I believe you're in Lancaster, Ohio. And Twin Brook Acres is here. And, I wrote down everybody I could think of, but there are many people that I'm sure I've missed. This is just, my live is only an hour long, so I've got to cut it down somehow. John Boston says, I'm a big Rush fan. First time I saw them was in 1981 at the Boston Garden. Happy Easter, everyone. Yeah, the first time I saw Rush was in the 2112 tour at St. John's Arena in Columbus, Ohio. And I've been a fan ever since. That poster is actually over there. That poster is actually made out of metal. I got that for Christmas in, I want to say it was 1978 or 1979. Dating myself. And let's see here. Good memory, Bob. Yes. And we've got Kate saying, glad you made it back home safely after your road trip. Yes, I am happy to report that I am back in Omaha, for those of you that didn't know. And yes, that was an amazing interview. So let's go on and talk about the next person who, he doesn't live very close, but he is in the same state as I am. Platte River Keto. If you're not watching Platte River Keto, you should be. He's doing really well over there. Some days he says he's not doing as well as he'd like, but we all have our own journey. Not everybody can do the same as everybody else. So we got to be aware that everybody's different, and some people are starting from different places. So try not to compare yourself to anybody else. Just do what you can to be 1% better every day. And John Boston says, wow, you saw them during 2112. That's awesome. Yeah, that was actually one of my first concerts ever. It was an amazing concert. The 2112 concert, if you're familiar with the red star that's on the cover of 2112, they had that as a huge backdrop. And as they played the introduction to 2112, that star started off as just a faint glow that you could barely see, and it came up to brighter and brighter. And then, of course, when they got through the intro, the whole stage lit up, and it was a really good show. They weren't actually my first concert, though. My first concert was Kiss, and I believe that was in 76 or 77. Kiss also puts on a really good show. At least they did back in the mid-70s. And hi, Bob. I live near where you were born, near Rio Grande, Ohio. Awesome. Yeah, I was actually born in a little town called Coonville. You've never heard of it before. If Logan is here and Nelsonville is here, oops, I'm going backwards here. If Logan is here and Nelsonville is here and Athens is here, Coonville is like down here where Sheila's name is. It's kind of makes a little triangle out of the three. So it's near Logan and Nelsonville and Athens. So it's in southeastern Ohio. It's in Hocking County. mom's property actually had a tiny sliver in Hocking County, in Athens County, and a pretty good little chunk of it was in Vinton County, which is where Zaleski and some other towns. MacArthur was the county seat for Vinton County, but the house sat in Hocking County, so I went to Hocking County schools. And Santa says she just got all the meat put away. Hello, anyone that I missed. And let's see here. Yes, absolutely, Sherry. I agree. Platte River Keto has an inspiring journey and makes amazing progress. Definitely worth watching. Who's next to be talking about here? I just recently started watching her, and she does great things. You should be sure and watch her if you haven't. And her husband is on quite a bit. Dawn Does Keto. Dawn Does Keto is a really good channel. A lot of interesting things to watch there. I specifically really like in about the middle of their videos, they are reading books. They started off, when I first started watching them, they were reading Dr. Berry's Lies My Doctor Told Me. And what they will do is they'll talk about the book they're reading and what they think of it. And it's really very good. You should definitely go watch Dawn Does Keto if you have not started watching that yet. Thank you, Twin Brooks Acres. Be sure and smash that thumbs button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I see there's 33 of you in here now watching, so don't forget to say hello if you haven't already. Who's next up here? I did an interview with him. Just Jason Keto. If you are not watching Just Jason Keto and not just going back to watch the interview I did with him, he is definitely one of those channels that's worth watching. And the reason I'm covering so many of these is everybody has a little bit different style, and some styles will click with you, some styles will not. So hopefully out of this list, you can find 2 or 3 or 4 channels that you really like. You click with them, and we can continue to grow the entire carnivore movement, not just, yes, do I want to get bigger? Absolutely, I want to get bigger. I want to get bigger and make lots of money and be a wealthy YouTube influencer. But realistically, what I really want is for the word of carnivore to get out there so that everybody that was stuck in the place I was for about 40 years can get healthier and get their life back without having to go through all the things that I went through over the last 40 years. Let's see here. What else am I missing? Sherry says, my grandparents were from Point Pleasant, retired to a small property off Route 35, 6 miles from Rio Grande, did all their later life shopping and doctoring in Gallipolis, Jackson, and Oak Hill. Absolutely. Sherry, do you remember at Point Pleasant when the old Silver Bridge actually fell into the Ohio River? I'm dating myself here, but yeah, the bridge at Point Pleasant collapsed into the Ohio River. It was not a fun day in southeastern Ohio. Hi, Bob. Rosalind from Pearland, Texas. Hello, Rosalind. I am glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. We're up to 36. It's pretty awesome. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. Carnivore Me, many of you know her. If you're not watching her stuff, you should be. I can't say that I've watched a lot of her channel because for whatever reason, it just doesn't click with me real well, but I do watch her channel when something pops up that I'm interested in. This next person, I really like him a lot. He's from down in Arkansas, Carnivore Kip. If you're not watching Carnivore Kip, you should be. He's got a lot of really good stuff, and he cooks in cast iron, which drew me to him. He cooks a lot like I do, because I love being home now because my cast iron is back in my life. I'm going to figure out a way to add a sink or something to my trailer for the next time I go out, because I really miss not having cast iron to cook in, and things taste so much better in cast iron. Thomas Murphy. Hi, Bob. Looking good. Hi, Thomas. I'm glad you're here. I've only got one person left to talk about, so let's be sure and get those questions in. But this next person, if you're in Dr. Berry's groups at all, you will recognize this name. For those of you that are not in his in Dr. Berry's groups, see here, did you mention Aaron Edwards? No, I did not. I don't know who that is. I'm not familiar with them, but I will add that to my list here. Let me write that down, and I'll go check that out later. Aaron Edwards. Thanks. Thanks for the advice. I will check that out. I believe it was shortly after the I-95 Minas River Bridge collapsed. I actually think the bridge collapsed in the late 70s. It might have been 78 or 79, but it might have been 80 or 80. No, it was not 80 or 81 because it happened before I graduated from high school. So it was back in the 70s when that bridge collapsed. Okay, but as I was saying, this guy is one of Dr. Berry's moderators. He is amazingly smart, and you should check him out. His title is down in the description, but it's PhD Kevin. Kevin is one of Dr. Berry's moderators. Like I said, he is extremely smart. He doesn't put out a lot of content. Just when he finds something that he thinks he should talk to people about, he puts that out. So it won't take you a lot of time to catch up on his channel, and because he's really busy. I mean, he works and he is almost always in Dr. Berry's live chats, whether they be on YouTube or in the private group. He does a lot of stuff inside Dr. Berry's private group on Mighty Networks. But if you're not watching Kevin, you should be, because he is extremely smart. Extremely smart. Yes, remember well, Silver Bridge collapse. Some of my dad's high school friends lost loved ones. The Riverwalk in Point Pleasant has a small memorial plaque where the bridge was located. I have never actually walked around Point Pleasant. I always go through it on the way to West Virginia or on the way home from that direction. But next time I go through, I'll have to actually stop and check that out. Thank you. We have a question from Craig. My mouth was watering when I saw your rib roasts. We'd be cutting them into steaks. No, I won't be inviting Geddy Lee over for dinner. I would like to. For those that don't know, he's that one. That's Geddy Lee. He plays bass and keyboards for Rush. Plus, he was the lead singer for Rush. I actually, because what I'm doing, I'm still getting all geared up and things. I went back over to pick up the fat that they were saving for me. I got 5 pounds of fat, beef trimming fat today for free. And I picked up another one of those rib roasts because they were still on sale. I stuck that one in the freezer. I cooked the entire rib roast yesterday. And then after it was done, I cut it into steaks, and they're in the fridge. I'm not going to freeze and reheat and do all that. So for the next 5 days, well, 4 days now, I cut them into steaks. I'm just going to pull one out of the fridge, get some butter or lard hot in my cast iron, and I'm going to sear both sides of the steak. I ended up getting it a little bit overdone. I watched, went to some cooking sites and took their recommendations. So when I do the next roast, I'm going to cook it for about 45 minutes less on a slightly lower temperature. But it was still really good last night. I mean, I thought that maybe I didn't cut the steaks thick enough, but I timed it out just almost perfectly. I started to get full with like 3 bites left, so I finished the steak up and have not eaten yet again today since I ate the one last night. And they had pre-cut the bone rack out of it, and they left, a good inch of meat on there. So I also have that in a bag, and one of the days I'm going to throw the bone rack back in the skillet, heat it up, and make 3 or 4 hamburger patties to go with it, because there's not enough there stuck to the bones to make an entire meal. I will have I just saw some comments come up. So I will have I'll have some hamburgers to supplement that, because all of the bones with the attached meat is not enough to make an entire meal for me. So that's what I've done. Let's see here. Even earlier than I thought. Silver Bridge was about 1967. Thanks, Sherry. I couldn't remember. I knew it was. I remember it from my childhood, but that's from such a long time ago. It's hard to remember everything. So here, Kevin is definitely very knowledgeable. Yes, indeed. Kevin is very knowledgeable. Let's see if that's my list. Let me see if there's anything that I forgot to say about each of these people that I was going to talk about. So hopefully we'll get some more questions in here, or we're going to run out of things to say with about half the live stream left to go. Let's see here. Yeah, I did a video yesterday. It came out yesterday on osteoporosis. I forgot to link the channel for the interview with Dr. Paul Mason. And I'm pretty sure I talked about him. Yeah, he was on my list of people that I talked about in the big guns. And if you're not, I don't know that Dr. Paul Mason actually has a channel. Most of his stuff is on Low Carb Down Under, which is an Australian channel. If he has an actual channel and somebody could link that, that would be awesome. Yes, the WD-40 has arrived. I actually got the legs down without the WD-40. I went out and I had my little ladder set up, and I took my cane with me to help me get up and down. Had to lay down on the concrete to get the better angle, because reaching underneath the trailer with my shoulders the way they are, I just couldn't get enough leverage to get the legs to come out. So I laid down on the ground and got both of the legs down on the trailer. But my WD-40 did arrive today, along with a big thing of coffee. Yay, coffee. Coffee is awesome. No, coffee's not carnivore, but yes, I love coffee. What in the world? Where's everybody going? Oh, yeah, there's a Anisha video starting in about 17 minutes. So maybe we'll knock off just a few minutes early today, so that those that want to go catch Anisha's Zoom call live, we can do that. Does anybody know, does Dr. Paul Mason actually have a channel? I don't know. And Bert says he loves coffee too. Yes, indeed. I like coffee a lot. I did see an interesting video that a while back Bart K was lambasting. I don't remember the moron that was talking about it, but somebody on the interwebs decided to have a go at Dr. Kiltz. That was just dumb. Dr. Kiltz is a really, really smart guy. And I'm happy that Professor K took care of that, because Dr. Kiltz is a little different, but he knows his stuff. And as Professor K always says, you don't necessarily have to be trained in nutrition or science to talk about the things that a lot of carnivore people talk about, as long as the information you're giving is correct. And I do try to give correct information on this channel. But just remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't play one on TV. I don't play one on YouTube. every piece of information that I give you is coming from, as it says there underneath my name, I'm a retired truck driver and a carnivore. I'm not a doctor. So every piece of information I give you is from the point of view of a retired truck driver. I would hazard to guess that with all the studying I've done over the last 11 months that I do know quite a bit about nutrition. But I certainly am not going to call myself an expert. Let me scroll up here and see if there's anything I missed in the comments. I don't think I have. Okay, well, Nisha is due to start in 14 minutes. So I'll give you all just another couple of minutes to get some questions in if you have them. Yeah, I watch the Low Carb Down Under channel. And maybe you'll find Dr. Paul Mason Webb from one of his videos on Low Carb Down Under. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to talk to that man directly. And everybody I've mentioned in both the big guns and the smaller channels that I watch, if any of those people happen to stumble upon this channel or this video and would like to talk either live in person or via StreamYard or Zoom call or Skype, however it is, I would love to have a chat with you. And Sophia has made it. Hello, Sophia. I'm glad you're here. We are just about done because, as it was pointed out, Nisha has a live stream. And I think it's, if I remember right, today's the day she's going into how to add foods back. You know, a lot of carnivores and ketos and ketovores spend an awful lot of time on how to do a proper human diet, how to do the elimination diet, how to get healing through that. But nobody spends an awful lot of time on how to go about reintroducing foods. So I'm looking forward to this live stream. It was originally scheduled for right when my live stream was getting started, and it has been 3 weeks since I did a live stream with the men's conference down in North Carolina, and then me traveling and being in Ohio without internet last Friday. So I was really anxious to get back here and talk to some of you guys. I'm very glad all of you made it. I don't see any last minute questions coming in. So, let's see here. Happy Easter, Bob. Have a good evening. You too, Sherry, and everybody have a happy Easter. I hope everybody has a nice big fat ribeye steak that they're planning on having for Easter, because it's a good Easter's a good day to have a great big fat steak. And Epaulets One is here. Good to see you again. But I'm going to leave it at that. Happy Easter, one. I hope you enjoyed it. It ended up being a very short live stream, but I got to cover everything I wanted to cover, got to talk to all of you, answer a few questions. Let's see here. Thank you for inspiring last month to start walking. I am continuing to walk. Absolutely. You are welcome, Handy Girls. Let's see here. Nurse Nisha started about 15 minutes ago. Time changed yet again. Okay. Well, I'll have to catch some of that on the replay, but I'm going to go catch what I can of that. Have a great day, everyone. Have a happy Easter. I will see you in the next one.